If you want to grow your wealth, your income, and increase the amount of time off, Creation Podcast. And welcome to the Wealth Creation Podcast. My name is Dan Latto. We are on the marketing and sales show. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a wicked weekend. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're doing really well today. So, in today's session, I want to talk about how to get more sales through content marketing. Now, obviously, we own a content marketing company. It's a digital marketing agency, and we've got lots of clients, and so we know what works, what doesn't work. We know the combination of things that works as well. So I'll give you an example. So for example, if you put out content, let's say it's pre-made videos, like when we do our short videos and we put those out, they work to a certain extent. And also if you're running paid ads, they also work to a certain extent. But one of the really big things that actually makes it all work and gel and actually gets conversions is when we actually live stream in between all of that stuff. So like when we can get our clients to create content, and sometimes they don't create any of it, we create it. But then if we can get them to go and live stream, that works so well, because also we can then pull out the shorts from those live streams as well, and then we can publish those so they have a lot more content. And it's like, so we get to be able to see the bits that are working and the bits that are not working. And we also see clients sometimes trying to shortcut those results. And there is no shortcutting in 2024 going into 2025. There are no shortcuts whatsoever. You've got to do the work. You've got to put the content out there. And when you begin to put the content out there, that's when stuff starts to happen. Now, we might not have any control over that stuff that starts to happen. But for example, in the last, I'd say 10 days, we've actually upped our amount of content marketing for our own business, right? We've been so busy managing clients, we've noticed that our strategy sessions have dropped. And worse than that, when people do book a strategy session, the quality of people turning up on those strategy sessions is really poor, or they just don't turn up at all. But what's interesting is that when we start putting out an increased amount of content through shorts, videos, static images with posts, long form written content, audio, so things like podcasting through iTunes and Spotify and Amazon, like we start to get a lot more stuff coming through. And so number one right here on how to make more sales through content marketing is just through building awareness. Like if you're not going live stream, how do your customers know that you exist? If you're not posting videos or images or product information out in any way, shape or form, how do people know what you do? And the number of times we've spoken to people and, they're starting a business and it's like, okay, brilliant, starting a business. So text everybody in your phone. What? Yeah, text everybody in your phone and ask them if they want what you sell. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, what? Like, people go, oh, I've run this business for 2 years and my mum and dad still don't know what I do. My friends in the pub, they still don't know what I do. And it's like, how are you doing your marketing? There's no content marketing. And really that's all content marketing is. It's about building awareness. And when people know that you're a painter and decorator, guess what? When they need a painter and decorator, you're probably the first person that they're going to come and ask. But if you're not posting out your before and afters of your painting and decorating business, how do people get to know how good you are? How do people get to know how consistent you are? And how do people book you? Well, it's difficult. They don't. They go elsewhere. And so one of the biggest ways of making more sales through content marketing is simply by building awareness. And we do that through posting content. And the content can be pre-made. Sorry, I've got the dog down here, by the way, Luna, bless her. She needs cuddles whenever I go live for some reason. But you can put content out, you can put before and afters out. And there's all sorts of different ways, and we'll run through a couple of those ways in this session today. But one of the things that will happen when you start putting out more content, you not only start building awareness, but you also begin to increase the amount of trust. And you know what? In 2024 and as we're going to 2025, trust right now is just a broken commodity, isn't it? I mean, you must admit, like, there is no trust anymore. Nobody trusts anybody. Politics, I mean, good grief. The news, like, are you right wing or are you left wing? And whichever one of those you are, that will dictate the type of news that you watch, and the type of news that you consume will be right wing or left wing based on the people who own the businesses, Sky News and BBC and ITV and all these different sort of things. So this is really important, is you've got to build trust, because trust is a commodity in 2024. And I know it doesn't seem like it. I'm just going to add a second light here because the sun went in. Let me add this one as well here. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? So you've got to be building trust. And you build trust by building consistency into how often you're posting. So I'll give you an example. If you're only posting content once a week, and maybe, you go, okay, I'm going to record 10 videos. So you record 10 videos and then you post them out one a day for the next 10 days. Brilliant. Your website visitors go up, your phone starts ringing. Brilliant. And then you get too busy. And then you're so busy, you haven't actually had any time to create any more content. And then you get to the end of a 10-day cycle, you're out of content. Now the phones stop ringing, your website visitors have dropped, and your customers are wondering if you're still alive. And it's because you've not built consistency into the marketing. And I would rather you do one piece of content every 3 days, so now you've got 30 days of content, than one piece of marketing every 10 days. Preferably, I would much rather you have 2 to 3 to 4 different pieces of content going out every single day. It's tough to do. But we believe in the 90-10 rule. The 90-10 rule is where you create 10% of the content, you send it to us, and we do the other 90%. And that 90%, we'll take like a 10-minute live stream, for example. We might come out with maybe 10 or 15 different short videos, and we can top and tail them with an intro and an outro, a little bit of music, some subtitles. We can write a long form post with a call to action. We can schedule those for you. That's the 90-10 rule. You just literally got to produce a bit of content. You're pulling up at the shops because you're going into Asda to do your shopping. Hit record, do a quick 5-minute video about whatever it is that you happen to want to talk about, send that over to us, and we'll create the other 90% off that one 5-minute video. That's how it should work. And then you get to be more consistent with the content and the scheduling of that content that's going out. So now you can get to, instead of one every 3 days, so you've got 30 days of content, you can do 1 or 2 every day for the next 30 days. And having that as a consistent process, day in, day out, it might not make a difference in the first week, the second week, the third week, the fourth week, and so on. But as you continually build this consistency, you'll see your numbers and your website visitors going up. We get likes, for example, on content that I posted a couple of months ago. We still get people watching it. We still get people downloading podcast interviews. Podcast interviews. We've not done podcast interviews for years. And we still get people downloading podcast interviews. One of the very first podcast shows, I think it's podcast 2, was how we dropped 50,000 leaflets a month. And honestly, we still get people downloading that podcast 7 years later. And it's because we took that time and effort to create all that content 7 years ago. And now people are still getting to watch it, and it builds awareness, it increases trust over a long period of time. And so, like, even if we cut off our content, we have done that. Over summer, I was in America, we didn't do that much content, we're just managing our existing clients. You know what? Our website visitors didn't drop that much. And the reason why they didn't drop that much is because the content that we've already done enables us to keep pace with sending more footfall, more website traffic over to our website. But at some point, if we didn't come back and create more content, that would just drop off. Content is about building awareness and increasing trust with your clients. And then one of the really cool things that you can do, so we've just done it, we've just gone through the process we call the 90-10 rule, where you create 10% and we create the other 90%. That's almost a demonstration of our product. So you don't even have to spend that much time creating content, because you just go live or you record a 10-minute video and we pull out the other 90% that can create almost a month's worth of other content from that one piece of content, or maybe a couple of weeks worth anyway. So we've kind of demonstrated how we operate. And in fact, we've got a free download coming in the next couple of weeks, which is just over with our graphic designers to make it look really pretty, into a mini ebook that you can download. Like 4 or 5 pages, but a really quick read, which actually breaks down all the things that we do for our clients to take a live stream like this and snip it up into smaller pieces. And you can download that and implement that into your business, for example. That's another really good way of actually demonstrating what we do, which is really cool as well, because in order to get that document, which is a free download, doesn't take long to read it, but to get it, You've got to put your email address into our system, and then we can put you into our sales process, and we can send out emails. We can follow up on emails that you click through on, for example. You might have already had one of those emails. Hey, I noticed you were looking at the website offer. We've got a website offer coming out this week, folks. But when we've run them before, we can see who's opened the website offer. We can click through and email them. Hey, John, I noticed you opened up the discounted website offer. Do you need a website? Shall we jump on a call? Like, what a wonderful way of being able to get access to people who are interested in what you're already selling just by simply following up. But by also demonstrating what you do and showing your expertise or your prowess or your the nature in which you're credible within your marketplace, going through a problem that you solved for a customer, going through and demonstrating it before and after. We talked about that with painters and decorators. Or one of the things I'm really obsessed with by now is the jet washes on the driveways. It's so cathartic watching them, just jet wash, and it's speeded up. I need to buy myself a jet wash. But it's a demonstration. There's one guy and he has a strimmer, for cutting grass, and he has one of those blowy things to blow all the grass away. And he cuts all the grasses, and he just goes around in his neighbourhood to random people's houses where the garden's overgrown, and he offers to cut it, and then he creates content off that. And that is his marketing. That guy is going to be absolutely rammed because he goes out and demonstrates how good he is always on a consistent basis. And that guy's going to get absolutely so many sales just from doing that. And that's something that you should be doing as well. And then just finally on how to make more sales through content marketing, you've got to understand the buying cycle. So it's like a sales cycle. And it's like a circle, and when someone pops into the circle, they're going to go through a certain number of pressure points, touch points, where you've got to build trust along these touch points. So, for example, you might subscribe to YouTube. You might have listened to our podcast. You might subscribe to that. And then you're going to jump on a free download. You're going to put in your email address. Then you're going to start getting emails. Each one of those is a buying cycle. So listening to the podcast and subscribing, watching the video and subscribing, following me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever else, Twitch, TikTok. We're even on TikTok, for God's sake. But getting all these touch points in all these different locations. And then, for example, you might meet me at a networking event. Or you might have met me at a networking event 10 years ago, and then you come across my content. We did this probably 2 or 3 years ago now. We sold a website, and I said, just out of interest, how did you first hear of us? And he said, I saw you speak as an expert on the property panel at Manchester Networking Club, PNC. That was 12 years before. That was the sales cycle, folks. We're talking about fulfilling the buying cycle. It took him 12 years to buy. But the reason he bought is because of all the other stuff that we've talked about up here, about building awareness, increasing trust, demonstrating, putting out as much content as you can, and just being in front of people's faces and building awareness. That enabled us to fulfill the buying cycle by having all these different touch points, such as email marketing. If you're not sending out an email a month, you're missing a trick. Our open rates right now average, I'd say about 22-23%. Last couple of emails all got 24%, and that's thanks to Graham, our number 2 on our content delivery. He's such a good guy. He manages all our clients, by the way. You'd be interested to know. Like 24%, 22%, pretty unheard of in today's climate. And now we're like, actually, we need to be driving more people to our email newsletter or email list because the open rates on those are so much higher, the click-throughs are so much higher. But that's a really important part of our buying cycle. That's a touch point where we can send someone an email. They already trust us because we're on our email list. Then they open it, then they read it, then they click through. Then we follow up with, hey, I noticed that you clicked through on this. Is that something you want to jump on a call with? That is fulfilling the buying cycle. If you can get all of that in place in your business, you're going to find it so much easier to close more business than ever before. Obviously, that's a lot of work, and if you don't know how to do it, you should jump on a call with us anyway, and let's see what you've got and see how we can help. Anyway, I hope you find that useful. I hope you have a wicked day. We are planning to go live every day this week, and we'll catch up with you on the one tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Hey, it's Dan here. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Please click like, or subscribe to the entire podcast.